Hello and welcome to An Old Man Tries, where I try a randomly selected game from my collection. And today the randomly selected game is Can Androids Pray? Unlike most games that I play here, I have actually, this is my second start of this game. That was not intended. I was recording my first attempt, but I ran into some things with the game that meant that basically it was going to have to restart from the beginning, and I figured better to just start the video afresh. So we'll kick off with some disclaimers based on what I've experienced from my first sort of 8 or 9 minute playthrough. So number one, the opening cinematic is unskippable. You can't speed it up or do anything, so you're just going to have to sit and watch it with me. Secondly, there literally is only the option to begin or quit. There is no load or save function in this game. If you hit escape to come back out to the main menu, you can't hit escape to go back to the game. You can literally only quit or begin. Thirdly, I think we're up to 3. This is a visual novel, so the gameplay consists of clicking to proceed or hitting spacebar to proceed through dialogue that the game or narration that the game gives to you, and then occasionally choosing an answer. Some people love visual novels. I'm not the world's biggest fan, but you know, the point of this kind of series of videos is to try stuff in my library that I hadn't tried, so I'm going to give it a go. And finally, as you might have guessed from the name of the game, Can Androids Pray? This is a game that's going to have characters ruminating on the existence of and nature of God, and whether like God is real, and if so, what does God want, and all that kind of stuff, which may or may not be your cup of tea, and if it's not, you probably want to bail now. I'm going to play this game. I'm going to adopt the persona, I guess, of a non-denominationally good-intentioned person, but not one who is, you know, avowedly belonging to any sect or faith, for the purposes of answering the questions, I guess. And we will see where that takes us. I guess the point of the game is to, you know, the replayability of the game comes from adopting other mindsets. I'm a militant atheist, for instance, as a mindset, or I'm a highly religious person and I think God loves us as a mindset, and starting from one of those places and seeing how it changes the experience of the game. I'm going to go with, a decent person who wants good things for everyone, but who is not necessarily deeply religious in any way. Anyway, let's kick off and begin.
Blessed are the poor in spirit.
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. There is dialogue, but you might not be able to hear it because I had to turn the volume down. Because the music is a lot louder. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. This is all from the Bible, obviously. Or maybe not so obviously. We are seeing the aftermath of some kind of battle between battle mechs. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Probably the most famous quote from this passage. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. And blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
They shall see God.
So it's a 3-person game, which explains some of the limitations, probably lack of load and save and things like that. So here we are. I'm going to get a message to start the game. Your fuel line's cut. So the game's going to use lots of text expletives with hashes and ampersands and dollar signs in place of letters. I'm going to read the dialogue, but I'll generally either omit or soften those words just because, let's keep it all ages as much as we can. You can read what's actually being said. Can androids pray? So, the fuel line's cut. How can you tell? Because there's no need to be hostile out of those options. Do you see the red blinking lights everywhere? Oh. Yeah. Even if we didn't have to worry about corrosive air, or not having supplies, or not having long-range comms, or not having anything when it comes to surviving past tomorrow, we're doomed. My arm servos are locked, Private. Judging the condition of your mech, you aren't moving from that spot either. No matter what we do, or what we say, or what we want, your fuel tank's going to blow us sky high. It'll happen just as the sun rises. Should be beautiful. Why did you chase it? Soldier, it's our job. Why call him an it? It could have been a her, or I can't remember. Let's go with why call him an it? It could have been a her. Okay, interesting point. Why did you chase her into a series of blind corridors? You sent us after a 40 G9 buckshot hog in a canyon. The mech has buckshot in the name. What did you think would happen? I blame you. This is your fault, Private. So we can say an expletive back, or we can say my name is Court. So we'll go with that. My name is Court. Okay, this is your fault, Court. I don't want to die. I really, really don't want to die, and if I was going to die anyway, I would have wanted to plan. I would have eaten whatever I wanted. I would have tried one of those classic programs instead of rewatching A.MAZE. I would have tried reading at some point. Maybe not that last one. I'm having trouble with my imminent death. Yeah, I imagine most of us would. The civility filter seems to be picking up on that. On the bright side, I guess it will go before we do. I'm sorry. Want to know something funny? Sure, tell me. Your little stunt saved our lives. Temporarily. But still. When you pulled me away from the engagement to chase the enemy, I saw something go off behind us. I didn't realise what it was until now. The Mercury Protectorate had an anti-ferrous bomb. MP sacrificed every unit they had in that crater to wipe us out. Probably melted us inside our suits. As far as deaths go, this isn't going to be so bad. Well, at least we're taking one of the MP with us. I don't know, I mean, the other death sounds like it was pretty quick at least, whereas these guys are going to be sitting here for hours waiting to die. I mean, there's no good way to die, frankly, but I don't know which is better. I think which is better or worse depends on your individual perspectives. You notice that the graphics are cycling. They're cycling through the same images, and I don't know if the game's got any more than these, but at least it's creating some visual variety as I click, because, as I said, that's all you do in a visual novel. Good riddance. I'm not certain we did that. You know how Chatter Command works. When Captain Burrow and I went down, I had to pick up his... And then she stops and she says, I asked for this detail. I volunteered to do something just once, and it kills me. Sure learned my lesson. Nobody thinks about the Mercury Protectorate. Command didn't project a single casualty. Vert networks were already fighting over the streaming rights. That's how much of a cakewalk this was supposed to be. We were supposed to stomp them. MP aren't supposed to have any enhanced mechs. They aren't supposed to have giant bombs. I guess they do now, though. Look at me. Can't even move my arms. Clearly you can still chat. Heh. Anyone ever tell you got away with words? Because they might have been lying. We really are going to die, The air in this sector is toxic. Without fuel or battery packs, our life support is going to run out. Also, you're going to explode, so that's a problem. There, that is a problem. They used to call this planet Earth. I watched documentaries about it. The sunsets were supposed to be beautiful. Now that there's all this stuff in the air, the colours and light and stuff, it's to die for. And we will. It has to be So we've got sounds nice, kind of overrated from where I'm sitting, which is the flippin' answer. You know, there has to be something we can do. I admire your persistence. We are totally screwed though. Sorry. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. Here we go. Do you ever think about God? Sure, I think everybody does at some point. Like I said, not necessarily religious, but you know, I'm not a complete atheist. Though I think even an atheist has thought about God. They've made some decisions, but they've thought about it. I think about God a lot. I try not to, but I do. There's this personal thing that can see everyone and everything, that made good and evil, made the universe confusing. I keep thinking and trying to understand him, and it's... God is... What do you think God is like? So does it matter if you can't see him, if he doesn't bother to talk to you, let alone fix stuff? Why spend the effort? Loving, probably. I hate to think God isn't, or I don't really think about it. I'm going to go with does it matter? If God exists, then he's cruel, which is perhaps more extreme than I had intended by making that selection. I don't want any part of that heaven. I get where you're coming from. Here's the thing. I think God is terrifying. So that, I get where you're coming from. Good answer obviously could have been used for any of the responses that I might have picked. I'm used to being monitored and judged by people who don't care about me. We're in the military and we've still got it easy. Reducing Confederacy is just 1984 with an anime mascot. I get apathy. What scares me about God, what keeps me up at night, is that God might care. But he's seeing all of this, all of me, and has feelings about it, about all of us, feelings we can't even comprehend. A sentient mind that processes everything and can do something about it, does do things maybe. But you can't tell when, or maybe you can, but you. At night, when I get out of vert, I look up at the stars and hope whatever eyes or eye that God has brushes over me. I feel ashamed for feeling that way, but it's true. Stop looking at me. Stop feeling, please. So we can sort of empathise, we can be hostile, or we can go back to, is there no way out of this? We're going to go back to that. So there's no way out of this. We could not be here. That help? Sorry, I get snarky when I'm about to die. Even that sounds sarcastic. I'm really not trying to. It's just text, and that's true. You know, text is hard to convey feelings and emotions with. Do these things support Unicore text? Do we have emojis? Thinking face emoji. Huh. I guess that answers my question. Funnily enough, that one's super illegal on Venus. When Captain Boronar went down, I freaked out. He taught me everything I know about surviving. Not boot camp stuff, that's conditioning. I'm talking about the stuff that gets you through this life after engagement was over, the day after day. The stuff you used to help others do it too. I couldn't believe that he was gone. Once I got to his body, I froze because I went through Cap's data log. It wasn't chain of command. I wanted something to remember and buy, but I ended up finding... screw it. I've got some existentially terrifying news. How do you want to hear this? Just be honest with me. Oof. Okay. We do everything in Vert. Study, sleep, train, have sex. All of it happens in virtual space. Okay. Supposedly to conserve resources, reduce disease, have a more intensified experience. They give us all these reasons, right? We can't even control the airlocks in these mechs ourselves unless we're in a critical condition. That's because for every 1,000 soldiers deployed, exactly 7 are physical people. Humans are pattern breakers. That's it. Just enough free thought to keep data centers millions of miles away from identifying calculated attack patterns and slaughtering everything. Compressed noise on an audio pulse. I don't know how far up it goes. Is this just an army thing? Is this the entire Vert just filled up with these computer people? The sensation of getting inside the mech, the alloy steel on your toes. They could fake it. They could. I don't know. Courtney. I don't know anything. I'm scared and I'm dying. You could potentially not be even real yourself, I guess. You might not be one of the 7. Okay, let's assume it's true. What does that mean for us? Okay, it means there's no way to tell what we are without dying in the process. If we open our airlocks, we die. If we don't, well, we'll die, but we'll die without knowing what we are. It brings up nasty questions I thought I solved. I'm not crazy, even if some of our conversation has suggested otherwise. I'm not crazy or irrational, thinking that something exists beyond myself that I can't see or fully comprehend. It's a new angle, I think. I don't remember that one anymore. Look at that sky. Just look at it. I saw how small I am in this universe and thought something has to fill all that empty space. Someone has to care about us. I do believe that, but now I'm looking up and it seems like sometimes some of these don't seem like they're finishing to me. When we thumped here in what is basically our graves, I had one thought in my head. There's no way to scroll. No. And hitting this doesn't do anything different. Can God hear circuits? It sounds pretentious and absurd, but I thought that. I felt tears on my cheeks and I wondered if they were real. I just murdered a man or a machine or something. And I'm crashing here next to his flaming corpse, wondering if God listens to computers. Or does he just drown out buzzing? So where is this going? You're right, you do sound crazy. Let's say God isn't listening. Isn't that what you wanted? You can still be happy if he doesn't hear you. Where is this going? I'm going to open the airlock. The sun's going to rise and I'm going to know. For once, I'm going to know something. Will you do it with me? Please? I really don't want to be alone for this. Yeah, right, let's do it. We're going to die anyway. Let's do something for somebody else. Basically well-intentioned person. You know, I don't think God can love everyone. If he did, it wouldn't mean anything. You know you love something because you know what hate is and fear. Love isn't any of those things. If he's truly anything like us, he holds grudges. He changes his decisions. He can take things too far, or not far enough. I guess that's what I'm banging on. Some part of God is just vicious and petty and eccentric and short-sighted enough that he can understand us, even if we aren't human. I believe he's better. Last chance. Yeah, I mean, presumably that's going to end the game, but one way or the other. But yeah, let's do it. Oh, there it is. The sun. Yeah. Of the little bits and pieces of the Bible I read, there was this one part that always stuck out to me. It was about this guy called Moses. He was a prophet, a leader. Him and God were on really good terms, apparently. But when he asked to see God's face, God said he couldn't. God said if someone looked at him directly, they would die. But you're already dead, Courtney. I'm not committing suicide. I really don't believe I am. I'm just going to see him. I'm going to see God's face. I'm going to find out if he loves me. My God, I was right. It's beautiful. Silence. Open airlock or die. Great choices. Well, we said we would. Let's do it. Oh. Well. Hello. So you open the airlock and you discover that you are not a human being. Well, Beatrice possibly was. And that's, I guess, the end of the game. You can obviously play it and get slightly different experiences. That's, you know, an option. I'm not going to record doing another version, and I guess that's why there's no load or save. It's a 20-minute experience. You don't need that. So there you go. That was Can Androids Prey, or one iteration of the story. You can obviously try other iterations yourself if you choose to pick it up. I got this in a bundle. There are frequently bundles on itch.io with lots and lots of games in them. So yeah, if it seems like something that might be your jam, maybe pick it up when it's in one of those. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll be back in another week to try another game from my collection and see what we find.